What's up, y'all? It's been a while since I done a live stream. Sometimes I do fights on Saturdays, but this past Saturday, I mean, you had David Lemieux or David Benavidez versus David Lemieux, but it's not a big fight to me, man, because I knew what was going to happen from the very beginning, that David Benavidez was going to knock out David Lemieux within like the first 3 rounds or maybe even round one, but I was a little off on that, but hey, man, it is what it is. It's still the same devastating outcome. David Benavidez, obviously David Lemieux doesn't have anything on him, but fights like that, man, like I don't really like, it doesn't motivate me like to cover those type of fights, man. Like even though other fans say that it's gonna be a good fight and all that other stuff, but we already know what it is. I already know what it is at least. But if you're a real thorough boxing fan, you would have seen that from a mile away that that was gonna be a one-sided fight. But David Benavidez, man, he's a real good fighter, but it's time for him to step up his competition, and try to do that same type of performance on other guys, like Caleb Plant, Demetrius Andrade, all that. But now that we're on the subject of last Saturday's fights, I would like to cover like some other fights later on, like that I'll probably go live for. I want to go live definitely for Devin Haney versus George Kambosos. That's another one that I'm looking forward to, but I'm definitely not going to cover the Gervonta Davis versus Rolly Romero fight, man, because I don't see that much being that intriguing to me, because I already know what Rolly is, man, because Rolly doesn't impress me at all. To me, he's a bit weird, like he's a very weird individual, and his fighting style, man, like it's not, it's not very responsible enough for me to give him an edge over a guy like Gervonta Davis, as seasoned as he is, because Gervonta Davis has a lot more tools than everybody realizes and than given credit for, because he's real good defensively, and his counters, man, are very sharp, like especially from the southpaw stance. Like that's a very difficult style to deal with. Like you really gotta like scrap the barrel like for a few fighters that could give Gervonta Davis problems. I mean, obviously you have Isaac Cruz, but that was a close fight, you know what I mean? But if you're really going to talk about a guy that has a chance, like from the beginning, like everybody knows that this is going to be a fighter that's going to give him problems, you got to look at guys like Devin Haney. You got to look at guys like Shakur Stevenson, and that's another good-ass fight, Shakur Stevenson versus Gervonta Davis, especially if Gervonta Davis comes back down. Hold on, 1 second, y'all, 1 second. All right, I'm back. But like I was saying right now, like Gervonta Davis is gonna have one problem or a couple problems with like different styles than a guy like Rolly Romero, man. Because to be honest, man, if I'm being real with y'all, I think Rolly Romero doesn't beat anybody except one guy. And you know who that one guy is out of that whole bunch of the young 135-pound contenders and champions? And he's only a contender. He was never a champion. That's Ryan Garcia. I only see Rolly beating him, and that's it. That's going to be his only victory throughout his entire run at 135 pounds, man. I could be wrong, but I don't see him beating the top of the chain like Gervonta Davis or Devin Haney, man, because those fights are very one-sided. And Rolly doesn't have the style, man. He really don't, like he only has a lot of power, and that shit could be countered very easily, especially at the lower weight classes, and he's not a heavy set guy, you know what I mean? Like where he's campaigning at like 175 cruiserweight or heavyweight where he could get away with that shit, So Yeah, man, I'm picking Gervonta Davis this Saturday because Gervonta Davis, man, uh, he does everything good, but he really needs to step up his competition. You know, we can't be seeing him in fights anymore with Rolling Romero and all that other bullshit. So hopefully, like after his contract with Floyd is done, he could actually like do something. You know what I mean? Like maybe fight Devin Haney for the undisputed title, or I mean, like the winner of Devin Haney versus George Kambosos for the winner of the. What am I doing right now? The winner of Devin Haney versus George Kambosos. You know, the undisputed champion. He could fight for that, or he could go back up to 140 pounds. You know, and seek out some challenges there, because Josh Taylor, I think, lost one of the belts, you know, the WBA belts. He didn't lose it in the ring, but he was stripped of it, I think, from what I heard in the reports a couple days ago. So maybe Gervonta Davis could finagle his way like to a WBA world title, man, because Josh Taylor has been looking a little soft lately, you know, especially with that performance against Jack Catterall. Maybe he could sneak something in that division at 140 pounds. Like, just imagine a scenario where Gervonta Davis becomes the undisputed champion at 140 pounds, Devin Haney 135 pounds, and Shakur Stevenson at 130 pounds. But here's the issue with Shakur Stevenson, man. Like, Bob Arum said in a report that he really doesn't give a shit about undisputed for Shakur Stevenson, and I think that's very fucked up, man, you know, because Shakur Stevenson's trying to build his legacy, you know. He wants to become undisputed, man. I mean, why does Bob have to have a say in that type of situation about another fighter's career? You know what I mean? Like, this is what Shakur wants, man. Like, I mean, you got other guys that are, you know, trying to fight for undisputed at these, like, you know, weaker weight classes than 130 pounds. And I don't see Bob taking issue with that. But yeah, he has an issue with Shakur Stevenson trying to go for undisputed at 130 pounds. And now, since he killed that notion, Shakur Stevenson wants to move up to 135 pounds. So we're about to find out what happens later on in the year. So I'm definitely keeping my eye out on the situation. And we're about to find out, man, especially with this whole thing about Devin Haney and George Kambosos. And I think that's real fucked up, by the way, how they're treating Devin Haney in this situation. I'm sorry, man, but that is some of the weirdest shit that I've ever heard, that he can't even bring his trainer, his father, and yet they allow all these different types of criminals into their country, you know, over there in Australia, but yet they don't want to allow a guy that was like, that went to the pen like in 1992 and shit, and he reinvented himself, you know, became a boxing trainer, became a very pivotal part in his son's career to become a world champion. Like, wow, man, you know, like, that's some fucked up shit that they're not allowing Devin Haney to have, like, his team go over there. A boxing training team, man. It's not some, you know, some guys that are just gonna cause havoc over there, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a real fucked up situation, but Devin Haney has a lot of self-belief in himself that he could still beat George Kambosos under all of those stipulations, man. So if he believes he could do it, man, then, oh, man, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. That's a very hard situation, like, to contemplate, especially for a lot of fighters today, man. You know, like, just imagine if Errol Spence couldn't bring Derrick James over there when he fought Kell Brook. And just imagine if, who else? I don't know, man, but yeah, that was a good example anyways. So I'm hoping that Devin Haney wins, and I think he will win, you know, like, depending on the performance that he does on George Kambosos. But I have a lot of confidence now that I've seen Canelo lose, you know, because Canelo's supposed to be the biggest star in all of boxing, the moneymaker. And if Devin Haney could be, like, very dominant in the fight with George Kambosos, man, he might actually get the decision, even though the scorecards would probably be close. But if he can make it enough to where they have no choice but to give him some of those rounds, you know, then he could probably get away with it, you know. Oh, hold up, y'all, hold up. All right, y'all, I'm back. And like I was saying, man, like if Devin Haney could win under all those stipulations, that would be great. Like just imagine the accomplishment that he would make, you know, like without bringing his trainer, you know, like or half his team. Because from what I'm hearing, it's gonna be Yoel Judah that's gonna be training him. And shout out to Chicano Prophet, by the way. It's good to see you, man. You know, I'm gradually getting back into, you know, doing a couple more lives and then probably pumping out a bit more videos, a lot more, you know what I mean? Because boxing is in full swing right now. You know, like especially with the Charlo Castaño fight, and there's a lot of drama going on, man. And I really am wanting to know like where Canelo goes, like from that whole situation, man. You know, that's what's the biggest question in boxing right now is like where Canelo goes, man. So I'm really interested in that story too, and I'm also interested to see like how the undisputed heavyweight shit is about to go down, you know, because I keep seeing on BoxRec that Usyk Joshua is going to be in Saudi Arabia, but I'm also hearing a bunch of conflicting reports that it's not even happening yet because there's some issues, you know, traveling issues for all I know. But hey, man, we're about to find out anyways, like whether it be in July, August, whatever it is, man, especially with the whole Crawford Spence thing going on, you know. So hopefully we see something like that, man, because I'm real interested to see how this year goes, because it's looking like we're barely finishing up the first half, but we're about to see some much bigger fights later on this year. So, but yeah, man, that whole thing with Devin Haney, I don't really like how they're treating Devin Haney, man, and I hope that he's very successful as soon as he comes out of it. Because if anybody could lose in boxing, you know, like even the biggest star just lost in boxing, man. So it could happen to anybody, man. You know, depending on the performance that the other opponent brings, then I think Devin Haney could beat a guy like George Kambosos, because George Kambosos doesn't really bring nothing to the table to me that actually like beats some style like Devin Haney, in my opinion. But we're about to find out, man, you know, even under those stipulations. But if they see something in Devin Haney, and it's a bunch of trainers, it's a bunch of fighters that say the same thing, man, I have to take their advice. And sometimes you really got to look into the styles, man, and how they could overcome certain plot holes, you know, like, or certain loopholes within fighters that have like a lot of power, you know, a lot of speed, a lot of agility. Sometimes you got to cut the ring off. Sometimes you got to move with them. And I mean, with your footwork and stuff. So if Dimitri Bivol could pull it off, then somebody like Devin Haney definitely could, man. So, yeah. And the whole Charlo Castaño thing, that was a great ass fight, by the way. I did a live stream of it, you know, a reaction, but some of those fights I put unlisted because, you know, obviously because of the whole copyright thing. Because even though you're not going to show the audio and the video in those type of streams, you don't want to, like, you know, trigger the algorithm to actually like still take down the video. Because I know a bunch of channels that actually did only reactions. They didn't have no audio on and they didn't have no video, but they still took them down, you know what I mean? And gave them strikes and stuff. So some of those videos or some of those live streams that I did for Canelo Bivol, Charlo Castaño, they're still there, but they're unlisted. So I might actually put them public very soon. Maybe not too soon, but until I figure out like how this whole thing works, man, because I really don't want to get any strikes on this channel. So Yeah, man, there's gonna be a lot more fights that I'll be doing anyways. You know, I'm definitely gonna be doing Devin Haney versus George Kambosos. Definitely not Gervonta Davis versus Rolly Romero, because I already know how that's gonna end. Unless I'm watching it for free, you know. If I'm watching it for free, then I'll definitely probably do a live stream. But y'all just gotta make sure that your notifications are on by then. So yeah, man, there's a lot going on, but a lot of stuff needs to be official, you know, like Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. What's gonna happen with Usyk Joshua? That's a good ass fight, man. But you know, everyone is talking about how Joshua's gonna lose the rematch, but when I see Usyk, man, like Usyk is coming from a war, and like I've said before, man, that could affect your whole mentality on a fight. You know, like you're not really focused on a lot of stuff that you're supposed to be in training, and you don't know what kind of adjustments Joshua is gonna make. You know, like the trainer that he's gonna fight, from what I'm hearing, he's probably gonna be with James Ali Bashir, and that's a good ass trainer. You know, he also trained Usyk, so that would be a huge weapon against Usyk, especially during this time. You know, where he's coming from a war, and now he has to fight Joshua. That could be a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. So, yeah, man, I just wanted to do this quick live, talk about like the events that are going on in boxing. So I appreciate y'all stopping by. Shout out to everybody that's following the channel. You know, I've just been getting a lot of subscribers as of recently, you know, even though I haven't been uploading too much content, but damn, man, I don't even know where this came from. And, you know, I just got a whole influx of subscribers, I guess. I mean, the algorithm must have been like posting one of my old videos as of recently, you know, like I remember I got some viewers from the Art of Viterabia video, but damn, man, I went up like 20 subscribers, man. I'm like, whoa, okay, damn. So anyways, I appreciate y'all stopping by, and I'll be doing another one very soon, or probably dropping another video very soon. So until then, I'm out. Peace.